All right. I am so thrilled for this opportunity. Jackie Glazer, you are an international sensation. And in the short time we've been working together, you are also probably one of the most successful coaches currently operating, certainly in the Jewish world now. And, you're closing on the rest of humanity. So I'm so thrilled and honored to have had the opportunity to work with you and to be a part of your process, your blossoming from international television star and leadership executive to now also phenomenal transformational coach. Thanks for being here.
Wow. We should do this more often. This is
okay. Absolutely. You tell me when. Could you just maybe share a little bit about what was going on in your life? I remember I was standing on the grassy hill in Minneapolis when we talked the first time, when you were thinking about making a transition. Just tell us a little bit. You're a therapist. You've been in high level leadership within a very important nonprofit. But when did you start thinking about maybe I want to be a coach, make more money doing it? What was going on then?
Well, honestly, I got married, and then we bought a house, and I had a lot more bills. So I felt a pressure and a strain financially was the first thing. So then I thought, okay, what's the best way with my skill set? I could make a little bit of extra money on the side. And I'm in America, even though I'm an Australian trained psychologist, I can't call myself a psychologist in America. What's the best thing you can call yourself that's totally legal on every level is a coach. And I'll just call myself a coach. I'll do my work, and people will refer if I help them. And I really, truly believe it doesn't really matter what your qualifications are and what your labels are. If you really, truly are of service to people and help them, they tell all their friends and refer. It doesn't really, I've never been asked my qualifications, and I don't think people care about whether it's a coach or a therapist or a psychologist. So that's what I thought. And that's what spurred me. That's the answer to that question. That's what initially spurred me. And little did I know that coaching is a whole industry with a whole approach and a whole strategy. And it's very, very different to therapy. And I love it. It totally suits my personality better, actually, even though I think both are really important.
That's interesting. Boy, there's a lot we can go there. Tell me a little bit more about how you feel coaching really suits your personality and your skill set.
Coaching is grounded, practical, goal-oriented, structured, or somewhat structured. I use KPIs, key performance indicators, of to measure whether they hit their goals. You collapse time. It's short-term. I love working short-term, intense and deep, which is I think people have that stamina and that energy to say, okay, for 3 months, it's just a 3-month commitment. And then a lot wind down in the 4th month, and then some reevaluate, set new goals and continue, but many don't. Many have their transformation. Now, I've done it long enough to see across the board, many have their breakthrough at 3 months. Literally, I'm shocked every time. And my passion is to give them, empower them with a certain level of self-mastery to learn the tools to continue working with them forever. But they don't need me. So I love saying, you don't need me anymore. We're done. As far as I've taught you what I know, you're working well with it, and enjoy, and some of them say, no, don't leave me. And others will say, great. So that's the main difference, I think.
Amazing. Tell me a little bit also, if we can just dig in, because I want to point out that, some people are again, there might be a thought out there oh no, I don't know what to do with my life. I might as well become a coach. I want you to talk about you were running a very large nonprofit. You were already trained as a psychologist. Go into that feeling and that frustration that you must have had with all of your qualifications and all of the responsibilities and the fact that you were doing really meaningful work. What was it like not making the kind of money that you needed to, again, manage the lifestyle that you wanted to live?
I didn't even know there was an option. So I wasn't even in a place of feeling anything about it, because I honestly had no idea that coaching could unfold a very, very robust, healthy, lucrative financial pathway where you're doing meaningful work and earning enough money to really live comfortably, and free me up to continue the nonprofit work, right, that I love. So it was literally, that was completely an eye-opener, total freak out, had no idea. And now I thought, okay, some people can do it. It's not me. We worked through that limiting belief of I can't do it. That's for those corporate people. And that was one of my limiting beliefs. And then I realized that you really can. I really can. And that's what's starting to happen.
Starting to happen, says the woman that made $10,000 in one day. One day. That's crazy. So
it's crazy. So I'm closing the window here because my garden is came.
I would love for you to share a little bit more about that idea. When in the beginning we were talking about that, you told me, and it's one of those things I hear from a lot of coaches. It's like, oh, I can't charge, my people are all broke. You said something, you're like, I'm a therapist. There's no way I'm able to get more than $200 an hour. Tell me about that belief that you had and what shifted, which it shifted quite dramatically between why people can't afford it. And suddenly you found plenty of people that can afford it. What was that like for you?
Really scary, really awesome. The main shift was it's not about me. So it's taking your attention off you and shifting from being self-oriented to other-oriented. So that shift of being, this is about them. This is about what can they get out of it and what results can coaching deliver and how much is it worth to them to live a happy life? How much do the results mean to them? That's it. Like, how much is that worth? When someone tells me what their goals are, and I say, let's imagine you reach those goals. How would you feel? And we go through the feelings of how that would feel. I say, how much is that worth to you? So when it's that shift from, it's not about what I'm worth. It's got nothing to do with that. If I can facilitate this change in your life that you want, how much is that worth to you? And that was the shift that felt authentic and real. And like, I've had experiences myself when I went to Israel or I went to do other transformational work where if someone said, how much is that worth to you? It like literally changed my life. It's invaluable. So in that experience, that's what I realized coaching does for them as well. So then how much do I need to be able to really focus on my clients, truly give them my energy and my presence and my availability? I also have a model where I'm available in between because I really believe I'm a coach in their corner. And that's worth that money for me to be paid whatever I need to be paid to be able to be there for them.
I love that. I also wanted you to maybe speak to this idea. A lot of people are like, oh, where am I going to get my clients from? And it's like, you've had no shortage and your practice fills up. And I think that's something else that maybe you could speak to, which is that you didn't have to radically go and find some hidden niche, or all of the high paying people are like hiding under some kind of rock somewhere. But I guess once you are dialed in, and maybe you could speak a little bit to that. Was it like when you started raising your prices, was it that you were like, no, everyone ran away from you? Or did you find there was an abundance of people that wanted to pay premium because they valued what you were doing?
I found it was all about my relationship to myself and money. That
Tell me more.
That, well, you know about this because we worked on it, but it was all about when I didn't feel worth that money, I would attract people who were like, I'm not sure, again, because I had the whole thing, I'm not worth it, or I'm not worth it, my time's not worth it. And when that shifted into, it's not about me, it's about them, it's about the results. And then I realized I really could deliver those results. So then it is worth it. And I feel authentic. And also there was something spooky that happened when people really invested in themselves, significant money. I found the coaching went in much deeper. They were more committed. And there was a point where I had like different price points with some old clients and new clients. And I saw even in that some of the differences of level of commitment. It was amazing, actually. And like, it was amazing to watch. So that was a big one, was that as I shifted, it shifted what I attracted. And once you are successful in helping people, they want their close friends and family and whatever to do it. So then it didn't become I've done 0 Facebook and Insta ads. I've done 0 internet marketing of like mailing. I don't have any time for any of that. I've done none of it. It's always been person by person or a referral, or there was a couple of them that I said, like, if you know anyone, I'll gift them a free session from you. I called some students that I have from like Olami, which is my nonprofit that I work with. And I said, it's not right for you because I already see them. I'm on salary, but I said, if you have anyone in your network or family, and they were like, yes, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Because whatever network you already have, as long as you know people and you're not hiding under a rock, you know people that need help and need coaching. And coaching, what I love about coaching, one last thing, sorry, is that it doesn't have a stigma attached to it as like therapy. There's a lot of people that are like, even now, the clients I'm seeing now, the new clients, oh, I don't do therapy, but I can do coaching. So there was a difference in that as well. And I like that. I like that it doesn't have a stigma.
I just want to reiterate and to give the people watching a proper perspective that you are making multi six figures, so much that you would make what most people, I granted to say what most people might be happy with in a month, you were able to create that in a day. So the fact that you're able to say, I did that without any social media, I did that without posting, because everyone thinks, oh my gosh, like again, I have people that come to me like, I don't want to put my life out on social media, all these people, and I'm like, the people that are just vomiting all over social media, they're not really being successful coaches. You could build what you've built without any posting, which was my experience also. So I just want to get that clear.
I didn't even need to be on social media for this at all. In fact, what I did was I do teaching and I do speaking. So on a speaking, I'll go out on a speaking gig, and that'll be like like literally I was out for a retreat recently, which was amazing. And that was like an ad. It was like an ad for my coaching, because what I'm saying, people either resonate with it or they don't. And I say, I'll mention this is how I work with people. So they want it to continue. So again, I think if you have what to offer, then I'm using my speaking now as, I guess, in that way of showcasing it. It's a way of getting it out there to a group at a time. So then I have a new pool. So that's one way I've been doing it. But I even found without that, I still had referrals coming in, trickling in one by one,
You mentioned that the investment that you find when clients are making a higher investment, they are willing to, they see the changes. And so I think there's no better example of that than you. When you started working with me, it was a big investment. And I realized that you were at a place where you weren't sure if you were able to do it, and you were on this nonprofit salary and all of your money was committed. And the reason why you wanted to go in this in the first place was like, I want to make more money here. I'm going to spend a huge chunk of money. So tell me a little bit about what about me perhaps made you feel like I was the right fit to work with. And also, if you could share a little bit, what did you have to tell yourself to get yourself over the hump that it's worthwhile investing in myself if I really want to see results?
Well, you were very kind and generous, because you were at the beginning, earlier on in your process also. So you kind of made yourself, because we knew each other before as colleagues, and you made yourself available to me as a friend, colleague, kind of for free for quite a while, actually, before I hired you as a coach, right? So I said, I just need Jacob for some business tips, like how to set up the business side of my coaching, because I'd already had clients as a therapist years ago. And I knew that aspect. I didn't need you for the craft itself per se. I knew how to start there, but I did need about the business. How do you get clients? How do you set up your practice? And so I thought I'll just bounce off some businesses. And you were kind enough to give me a lot of tips and a lot of ideas and you were really available, and you were doing that. And I could see that there was something else missing, that wasn't enough. And so I thought, you know what? I'll just get Jacob on for a month or two, and we'll just do a month or two of like, let me really, then I don't have to feel, I felt guilty at some point of taking your time, and I'll hire you for a month or two, get the tips I need and the real structure, and then we'll wind down. And of course, once we started, I realized it wasn't about tips. It was about some sort of block I had, or an assumption I made, or playing small within a certain, like a whole lot of assumptions that you were like, where'd you get those from? And they just dissolved as we kind of challenged them. And as soon as they dissolved, things shifted enormously, like literally the next week. And that blew me away, when you see that your inner world is just projected out like a projector onto your external world. And whatever you're seeing in your external world is a mirror of the way you relate to yourself and to all the different elements we're talking about, like finances and my ability and my confidence and all that stuff. And like scared of people judging you and, blah, 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 blah. It's unbelievable that I made myself small within that. And that was really the gift, I think, Jacob, that I got from the coaching, was that level of insight of breaking through the blocks that I didn't even know they were there until we're having a dialogue about what you're suggesting me do this X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that. Right. Like, or no, people don't have that kind of money, or there was all sorts of assumptions. And then you said, well, you don't need everyone. It doesn't need to be for everyone. You need 10 to 15, 20 people maximum, that can afford this, and it's the right fit for you. So that was also a different idea. Like, there were just a whole lot of assumptions, I think, that we all make that we don't even realize that we make. And that coaching process smashed through a lot of that. And then the world opens up.
Tell me what it's like when you start to think about, in the course of a couple of months, I'm making multi whatever I was making before over the course of my career. Or like you said, that I could make in a day what most people would be happy making in a month. What becomes possible? Like, how is your life, your philosophy different? And again, I want to point out again, it's not about the Bentleys, because a lot of people who are in the nonprofit, the helping world, they're like, I don't want I don't care about that $1,000 sports car. I might, but you're saying that was never a priority for you. So how is your life different as a result of what you're able to do in terms of the impact, the income you can have with people?
Well, I think just getting out of the kind of hand to mouth mentality of living month to month, knowing you're just covering what you need, which is a certain pressure that I think that's always there. That's number one. So getting out of that pressure, getting out of any debt, getting out of all of that stuff is really where I would go first. And then being able to, create an environment like a sanctuary of where I want to be and how I want to use my home as a potential platform for other people. Also what I want to host and how I want to use it. And then I think bigger vision outside of that would be then, can I actually create something also that's bigger than just me, that can also continue to give and serve and, provide and be a giver rather than, just making ends meet. So that's really exciting, like really, really, really exciting. And I'm kind of like, the thing that's really exciting that I've never had before is I actually really see a pathway of how that can happen, like really see it clearly and that it really can happen. And it's a pathway and it's exciting. I feel passionate, alive, and like really want to learn how to build this whole vision. It's amazing.
Okay. Last question is, a lot of people who we speak to, we might know, they might be psychologists, they might be therapists, they might be rabbis, nonprofit people, and they're thinking to themselves like, oh gosh, can I really do this? Should I really work? Can Jacob help me get to where I want to go? Can he help me build this business for myself? What would you say to those kinds of people that are kind of on the fence? What should they know, or what should they be thinking about? What are the questions they should be asking to figure out if it's the right fit?
If you're passionate about helping people in this way and you've been able to help people in this way, whether even if it was for free or not, like you've really been able to help people change and grow in general, so then you can do this work. If you have to be able to be confident that you can facilitate transformation or change or growth. If you've had that experience in whichever capacity, again, I don't believe you need labels and deep qualification. You're not doing deep therapy. I now refer out for trauma, depression. I refer that out, even though I probably could deal with it. I haven't dealt with it for a while. I don't particularly want to. It's not where I choose to focus, even though we really need amazing therapists and psychologists for that. So stay within your frame of what you feel comfortable with and who you want to work with. And it's really about believing in yourself. So it's about working through that block, of believing in yourself, and that there is a structure that you provide, and that there is a structure there of how to do it. And it really works. It really
Amazing.
works.
I want to just end, Jackie, people around the world that want the deep transformation that your coaching offers. How do people find you? I know you're probably, by the time anyone sees this, you're already booked out quite a bit, but how do people get engaged with you?
JackieGlazer.com would be great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you.